Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of June 16th, 2024. I am getting so excited for the OPA Retreat that's taking place in Park City, Utah from October 16th to October 21st. OPA is the Organization of Professional Astrology, and this is going to be an amazing, intimate retreat. I think there's a maximum of like 100 people, maybe it's a little more than that can join. And there are various activities that we're doing as groups, but there are also these breakouts where you're going to have an immersion track. And I'm teaching about moon mastery in my immersion track, where you can learn everything about the moon and her cycles. Even if you've taken moon mastery with me before, it's going to be very different in a group event and more interactive. And there's a maximum of 9 participants. We are going to be diving really deep into our charts, and I'm going to be doing all this preparation beforehand. And it is going to be just phenomenal, learning about everything about our natal moons, as well as you're going to bring a chart for someone else in your life, so that you can understand them better, of course, with their permission. And we're going to talk about setting intentions and bringing things into fruition and looking at the past, the present, and the future. And our natal moon, our progressed moon, the progressed moon phases, our natal moon phases, eclipses, and so on. It is going to be really spectacular. And there's going to be a lot of other amazing astrologers there who are offering their own tracks, including Sam Reynolds, Gemini Brett, Kira Sutherland, Rick Levine, Christopher Renstrom, Donna Young, and more. So check it out. Go to opaastrology.org or my website on the Moon Events page, and you can learn more about it. It's starting to sell out, so don't hesitate. I'm hoping it's all sold out by August 1st. If you want to go, sign up. Last week's podcast was called Lucky Breaks, and I told you that watch for stories about being freed from captivity. So the big story which made news was that Israel rescued 4 hostages that had been kidnapped on October 7th, but they did this in an area in central Gaza that was highly populated by civilians. And so hundreds, almost 300 Palestinians were killed. Now, there were probably a dozen or 24 terrorists killed, but there were a lot of civilians killed, and 700 plus were injured in this assault. So Israel is getting a lot of criticism about how they took this mission on because of the collateral damage that they're being accused of, it being too excessive, even though it's a war. So the astrology of this, Israel is a Libra rising. So Venus rules their whole chart. So for Taurus risings and Libra rising, Venus rules your chart. So when Venus is talking in the sky, entering new signs or making aspects, there will be something in your life on how it's reflected. And so when we see Venus transits, there's often a story about Israel in the news because it's a hot spot in the world right now. So Venus in Gemini, when they rescued the hostages, their code word was, a message back was, the diamonds are in our hand. So Venus rules gems and jewelry and things like that. So diamonds in Gemini in our hand. Gemini rules the hand. Astrology is literal. And it was square Saturn and Pisces. Saturn is hardship, and Pisces, like you have no agency or power. Saturn and Pisces is a direct translation into being in jail or being a hostage or, being in captivity. So Venus, they got like a lucky break, surprise, we've been freed from captivity. But at the same time, we had Mars in Taurus. And Mars is a planet of conflict and war and violence, and it's in detriment in Taurus. And a planet in detriment has the potential to do a lot of damage and act in extreme and ineffectual ways. And Mars was squaring Pluto in Aquarius. It's higher octave. Pluto is the destroyer. It's devastating. It has a mass influence. And Aquarius is large groups of people. It's a crowd. So Mars in Aquarius, this action led to a lot of civilians being killed as well. So Israel is getting a lot of criticism for this action, including being accused of committing a war crime. Also, something like part of the way they did this was Israeli soldiers dressed as Hamas terrorists. So Venus rules like what you're wearing. So that, and in Pisces is like a disguise for the deception to get in and succeed. So you can see that with it. And the day before Venus squared Saturn, Saturn could be consequences and hardship. The UN added, which is a powerful group, added, you can think about that with Pluto and Aquarius, added Israel to the blacklist, and Saturn rules the color black, Gemini list of countries harming children in conflict. Gemini also rules children and the conflict that Mars squared Pluto. So that is the big news-making example of this transit. And Chiron's been on a world point of 22.5 Aries. The 0 and 22.5 of the cardinal signs are world points, 15 degrees of fixed signs, 7.5 degrees of the mutable signs. And so events will get a lot of attention. And this wounding, Chiron rules wounding and healing of a lot of people got made news. The other thing I had said that I thought maybe on Friday that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez would let the world know that they're splitting up. That's not what happened. It was a Cancer moon. What happened was that news broke that because of Venus in Gemini square Saturn, their chart is very activated because I talked about that. You can listen to Lucky Breaks to learn more. They have a Venus-Saturn conjunction at 19 degrees of Pisces, so this square hit them right on it was square, Saturn squared their Venus-Saturn conjunction. They put their $60 million mansion on the market. And the Cancer moon, Cancer rules real estate. It was brought to the attention of the collective through, news, and their faces, they're all over gossip rags like Us Weekly and whatnot, talking about their marriage troubles. Venus rules marriage, square Saturn, it's having problem. The Birthdate Company makes amazing products, and I am a proud affiliate. I especially love the Birthdate book. It's a fully personalized, beautiful, and unique reading of your birth chart with over 70 pages of detailed horoscope analysis. It is such high quality. I absolutely love it. They also make amazing birth date candles. You can get it for yourself or as a gift for someone else. So check out the store and use my coupon code Celeste10 for a 10% discount. Go to bit.ly/3PW3NFM. You can find that in the link in the show notes. Enjoy. The theme of this week is chasing rainbows. And there are three big things I want you to think about as you're navigating this week. The first is that this week, Neptune is the star of the show. Last week it was Saturn, so there was a lot about people facing consequences for actions, like Hunter Biden was found guilty. There was terrorists caught in the tri-state area who were captured by the authorities. There were all these stories about people facing consequences. Well, now Neptune is the star of the show. And Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions. It rules in modern astrology the sign of Pisces. Yeah, it wasn't discovered until the 1800s. So, and when it was discovered, it was around the time where there were all these seances and things. So Neptune rules the higher realms, divine consciousness, rules psychics, religion and spirituality, places where people go in order to do spiritual things. It also rules things like oil and gas. It rules the ocean. Neptune was the god of the sea. It rules drugs. Neptune is about fantasy, illusions, escapism. It can be like just the dream. When you're having a Neptune transit, it dissolves, it weakens, it's like leaks. So when people are having Neptune transits, there can be like confusion. I had a Neptune transit like in my early 40s, and I was like, oh my God, am I getting early Alzheimer's? Because like my mind was just not, I think it was Neptune was squaring my Mercury. It was just not thinking clearly. And it was wild. So it can be a time, if you're having a Neptune transit, where your vitality is dampened, especially if it's squaring your sun, moon, or rising. And Oprah Winfrey, her chart has an A rating, and it's a 29 degrees Sagittarius rising. And so right now, Neptune in the sky is at 29 degrees of Pisces, squaring her ascendant. And she's in the hospital dealing with some stomach issues. They say she's got some kind of stomach virus or infection. I really hope Oprah is going to be all right, but this is the time when these things are happening. And she reported that she's taking one of these drugs like Ozempic, and they are known to have like digestive issues. Sometimes people can have issues with their bowels or their digestive system, but hopefully it's just not related to that. And it's just, they said she's dehydrated. Saturn and Pisces could be a lack of water. But yeah, so I hope she's going to be okay. Yeah. And Neptune has been in Pisces since back it entered for the first time in, I think it has a 157-year cycle, April 4th of 2021. And we're wrapping up this cycle. It's going to go into Aries on March 30th, 2025, starting a different part of the work in your chart. Now it's going to dance back into Pisces, go back into Aries. So this is going to be really interesting. And, you know, Neptune, it's so foggy. It's like Vaseline on a mirror. It's confusion that a lot of us, I've heard multiple astrologers say that they hate Neptune because it's so hard to get a hold of. Like you reach your hand out and grasp, and it's smoke and mirrors. There's just nothing really there. So it can be hard to get a hold of these Neptune transits. But what can be coming this week, because both Venus and Mercury and the Sun are all going to square Neptune, where the confusion can clear, where we realize where we've been deceived, where we created a fantasy, where it's not really really true. There can be a lot of leaks in the news about potentially celebrities. Jupiter and Gemini is possible. We may see Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has her sun opposite Neptune. For people who don't know who she is, she's this congresswoman in the very far right congresswoman who's a conspiracy theorist. Neptune, you know, you can fall for the okie doke. She's known for like Jewish space lasers, and Sandy Hook wasn't real kind of stuff. So she may be making more. She's been making a lot of news with Jupiter and Gemini because she is a Gemini sun opposite Neptune and Sag, and acting really even more outrageous than she normally does. So notice if this week we see stuff around her. Yeah. If you know someone or you yourself have issues with escapism through drugs, alcohol, like gambling, scrolling your phone endlessly, just be aware you maybe really feel a pull to do that this week and try to tame those kind of things. So use all your tools. And rainbows are very Neptunian because they're an illusion that we see. And you can think about there's expected to be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Remember that all that glitters is not gold. So think about, what are you chasing after? Remember, it's the journey, not just the destination. But can you go after your dreams despite obstacles, despite those Saturnian obstacles? Keep going for your dreams. So this is some things to be thinking about since it's a Neptune week with the theme. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that Cancer season begins on June 20th through July 22nd. So when the sun enters Cancer on that day, it's the solstice. It's the longest day of the year where we have the maximum amount of sunlight in the northern hemisphere. Cancer is a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are cardinal initiating energy that are action-taking. They're pivots. And Cancer starts the summer season in the northern hemisphere. And solstice, the longest day of the year, what happens is it looks like the sun is standing still in the zodiac for about 3 days. Cancer is intuitive, caring, sensitive, and empathetic on the high road. It's caretaking. It's helpful and has easy access to emotions. That it can be very contained and sentimental, very nostalgic energy. Now, on the shadow side, it can be very touchy, emotionally reactive, easily hurt, self-pitying, guilt-inducing, and nationalistic. So notice if you see a lot of like an uptick of people, really getting into the nationalism, like all that matters is my people, my tribe, my race, my family, my this, my that, and everybody else can pound sand. That's like that shadow Cancer energy. You may find yourself being very nostalgic, desiring comfort, wanting to eat like comfort foods. And your attention may turn to your family, home, and foundation. Cancer rules the stomach and the breast. So if anything comes up around these things, it's a great time to do a breast exam and think about if your stomach's bothering you, maybe you need to change your diet. You can think about gut feelings. That's where that comes from, Cancer. Like you get that feeling in your body. Your body is an instrument that's an intuitive instrument that tells you what you need to know. Great time to pull cards, like do spreads, oracle or tarot spreads. Yeah, for insights, maybe get yourself a new deck. I have a list of decks that I've used for my Astro and Oracle programs I do on Instagram and cross-post to YouTube at the link in the show notes. You can check it out, my Amazon page. Now, water signs are mute. The water signs are Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Think about it. You go underwater and you try to start talking. No one can understand you. So you may find yourself or seeing people around you get more quiet. And so if you're noticing, if you're in a meeting or something when the sun moves into Cancer, people may get quiet. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that we're going to have a full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn on Friday, June 21st. So we enter Cancer season and bam, we have the full moon right away before we have a time to adjust to the new energy where things will be revealed. The full moon is the culmination of the cycle where all is revealed. Let's look back at the moon phase family for this cycle where it started with a new moon in Capricorn. back on December 23rd, 2022, where the sun and the moon were both at 1 degree of Capricorn. Now, this is something that happens occasionally with these moon phase families, these 27-month cycle, where every 9 months there's a pivot point where something may relate back to one of the cycles. There could be an ongoing story, or you can use these cycles to set intentions for your long-term goals. So the first quarter moon slipped backwards through the zodiac. The sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Sagittarius at 29 degrees of each of the signs on September 22nd, 2023. So to me, this is like you had this plan, this Capricornian plan to go forward through things. Things slip back into Virgo and you're like, uh-oh, I need to get more organized. And the moon, the big picture, I need to make some adjustments, could have been what happens, or for some reason you move backward. But now we're having the full moon where the sun is in Cancer, the moon is in Capricorn, both at 1 degrees. 9 months after that, last quarter moon will be at 2 degrees of Capricorn, where the sun is in Aries, the moon is in Capricorn on March 22nd, 2025. So you can check these dates and see if there was a story in your life. The sun in Cancer is represented by the 2 of Cups in the tarot deck. And this is the cup of connection, love, and harmony, 2 people together. Yeah, so you can think about how you want to build more connections, close connections with the people you care for. The Sabian symbol is a man on a magic carpet observes cast vistas below. So this Sabian symbol brings together escapism and dreams and not really wanting to see reality, being taken on a ride or falling from the okie doke. But it can also be like sometimes people, like the most successful people, they just keep moving forward with the dream even when everybody tells them that it's not going to work, because they have a 2 of Cups energy, like they feel connected to their dream and what they want to bring to life. The moon at 1 degree of Capricorn, the tarot card is the 2 of Pentacles. This is a card about juggling things. It's got, traditionally like somebody juggling 2 balls, and it's about time management and prioritization. And can you think about that? Now, the Sabian symbol is 3 stained glass windows in a Gothic church damaged by war. So this to me, like, we'll see what happens. It's a full moon. Emotions are running high. With the magic carpet, it just gives me about images. Like the thing I wrote down was the crystal knock, which was where all these windows were broken in Germany during World War II, where like people rampaged through Jewish neighborhoods. And like, will we see something like that? There's been a lot of talk about far-right people in Israel, in the West Bank, like taking things away from Palestinians and doing damage and all of this kind of stuff. So we'll see if there's something in the news related to that. It could be somewhere else in the world where there's people causing damage for nationalistic reasons to other people, like in mobs kind of doing it, or just talk about it. We'll see. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 30, 60, or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Ask me a burning question and I'll record a video for you. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is waterfalls. And Neptune being active, I got all these songs again. And so Neptune in the sky is trining my natal Neptune. My natal Neptune's at 29 degrees and 59 minutes of Scorpio. So Neptune at 29 Pisces is in a smooth, easy throwing trine. So I'm getting more of these like psychic hits and intuitive hits. And like music is coming in sometimes with these podcasts. So the song is Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls by TLC. It's a beautiful video. It's kind of like, it's a sad song, actually, even though it's so beautiful. So we start the week with the moon in Libra and Venus in Gemini squares Neptune and Pisces, both at the 29th degree of each of the signs. And this is a degree of decay and crisis. So you may find yourself coming up with a relationship crisis or something like that, or something's being brought to your attention where you see something clearly that, you know, the fog and the mist was over before. That's what happens when these things perfect. You see it clearly. And it could be about how you're spending. Is money, Venus and Gemini, just falling through your hands because you're buying this and that and the other thing, and you get the credit card statement and that the fog is gone and you realize you need to get some control of this. I hope Venus in Gemini being opposite Oprah's ascendant is that, you know, she's feeling better or getting some treatment from the doctor. The seventh house, it relates to your doctors as well, and then treating you. That Venus brings us blessings. I'm hoping that she's feeling better and feeling relief from this stomach virus and dehydration issue. Then Venus enters Cancer at 11:20 p.m. Pacific time from Sunday, June 16th to the July 11th. So, but Venus is carrying this energy from this square with Neptune. And Venus in Cancer can be very romantic and wanting touch and sensitive and thinking about the fantasy and the illusions. And then the moon enters Scorpio at 11:37 p.m. And this can be, Scorpio is deep waters, and I'm feeling like the sexy vibes with it. Maybe it's all a fantasy, like you're dating someone, it's all a fantasy, you're just having such a great time. And sometimes that's nice just to live in the fantasy and have like really a lot of sexy time and connection, and you feel like you can't be without each other for 1 minute. Yep, that's the energy of this day. But maybe with the Venus square Saturn, you see beyond the veil. See them for who they really are, and hopefully it's just recognizing they're human rather than recognizing they're deceptive. On Monday, the word of the day is proposal. I wrote down stunned silent. So, Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Izzy, the Hawaiian singer, is the song that came in. Mercury is at 29 Gemini squared Neptune at 29 Pisces. And so there may be news of leaks. Like, notice what news hits the airway on Monday. There's also could be news of loss. And Mercury and Gemini, I'm wondering about the stock market, like some bubble kind of bursting a little bit. Mercury rules like commodities as well. Yeah. And Mercury enters Cancer from June 17th through July 2nd. And so Mercury in Cancer is more emotional, intuitive, writing poetry. Like, that's Mercury in Cancer. Writing out things that have this, like advertising. This can be like really compelling advertising that evokes emotion. Yeah. Speaking with care and empathy. Now, Mercury and Venus will meet at 0 degrees of Cancer on a world point. Quincunx Pluto at 0 degrees. Well, Pluto's at 1 degrees of Aquarius. So there is going to be big news that gets our attention. So think about things that Mercury rules: communication, transportation, commerce, and Venus rules relationships, women, jewelry, art, culture, money. Meaning at 0 degrees of Cancer, there's going to be big news about that. Now, this can be you closing a deal. Mercury takes on the nature of what it's talking to. So talking to Venus, it tends to be nice. Venus sweetens and wants to bring people together and connect them. You could have finally negotiate a deal that had been delayed. It's a great thing to do with this. Read the fine print. I'm wondering if Oprah will be talking about how these weight loss drugs affected her. Like they could have, I hope it's not anything really serious, but maybe there'll be news about her talking about it. Yeah, we can also be hearing news about women and fertility. Hopefully not the Supreme Court, Pluto and Aquarius. This powerful group is going to be saying, oh, you can't mail birth control pills in the mail anymore or something like that. I'm hoping that's not what happened when Mercury quincunxes Pluto. So Mercury at 1 degree of Cancer will quincunx Pluto at 1 Capricorn. Now this can be confusing words, touch off subconscious stuff. Quincunxes move us into new situations where we have to release something. So that's why I was thinking maybe it's something about the mail. Hopefully I'm not confusing you with this. Hopefully I'm not getting too Neptunian. Anyway, let me just go on. Just pay attention to what you see. So Tuesday, the word of the day is seductive. You Can Leave Your Hat On by Joe Cocker is the song. We have a gibbous moon where the moon is pregnant with possibility at 12 Scorpio at 12:14 a.m. Pacific time. This is such sexy energy, 9.5 weeks kind of stuff where you're so enmeshed and obsessed with each other. Yes, you are. And Venus in Cancer at 1 degree will quincunx Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree. So watch out for this because uncertainty in love can lead to controlling or manipulative behaviors where with Cancer, you're doing the emotional manipulation through what you think about is caring and nurturing someone. But it can lead to power struggles. And yeah, it can be really just watch, especially like something may come to your attention. If your lover accuses you of being emotionally manipulative, don't just dismiss them, really take it in. On Wednesday, the word of the day is freedom. And the song by George Michael, Freedom, with all of the models in it, is so Neptunian. This is a great storm from this. Neptune is also very magnetic. Power struggles could end. I'm hearing like if there was a conflict in your relationship yesterday with Scorpio, they said, I'm done. And you're like, please, 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 baby, don't go. But the moon enters Sagittarius at 9:31 a.m. Pacific time. Or they say that to you and you're like, I'm going. And it could be your boss. It doesn't have to be, or a client. You tell it to pound sand or something like that. It's like freedom. This is the song when the moon enters Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign, which is represented by, the horse, which is a symbol of freedom. Yeah. And like Sagittarius energy, wants no commitments, wants to be free to do what it wants when it changes, when it wants. Yeah. I love Sagittarius energy. It's fiery, it's feisty, it's fun, great time to move your body. On Thursday, the word of the day is care. So Careless Whisper is the song. Will we find out about some gossip? Gossip is careless whispering. And the song by George Michael. Oh, that was one of my favorite songs. Teacher. Something about teachers. Ooh, yeah, all these teachers. Sun in Gemini square Neptune and Pisces at 29 degrees. Hopefully not another one of these lady teachers being exposed for messing around with her students. Yeah, that's been, every time you turn around, that's happening. But anyway, the sun could shine a light on deception. Are you deceiving yourself or someone else? Will you believe your eyes and stop, will you believe your lying eyes? Yeah. The sun enters Cancer at 1:50 p.m. Pacific time from June 20th till July 22nd. There may be crying. I'm getting the image of crying jags. Just let the tears flow. Let it all out. You may have no idea why you're even crying, but there's something going on with that plutonic energy because Pluto is so close to the beginning of a sign. Every planet goes into a sign. It's having some kind of conversation with Pluto. And for Cancer, it's the king kunks. These two signs have nothing in common. Cancer and Aquarius. Cancer is cardinal water. Aquarius is fixed air. And so it's like this buzzing, this irritation. You don't know exactly what's going on. And Pluto is very primal and subconscious. So it's like, why am I crying? There's a reason, but it may take you a while to figure it out. On Friday, the word of the day is burst. The balloon pops. I Found Love on a Two-Way Street by Stacy Lattisaw is a song. She found love on a two-way street and lost it on a lonely highway. Yes, she did. Mercury in Cancer is sextile Mars in Taurus. Mars does not like to be in Taurus. They're both at 9 degrees. So these are sextile are opportunities, and Earth and water can make your own magic. But Mercury and Mars, watch out for conflict and harsh words with that. Because Mars doesn't want Mercury, because Cancer is the sign of Mars's fall. Mars is exalted in Capricorn and then fall in Cancer. So the Mercury person makes a request of the Mars person thinking, oh, this will be great. And they get a hard no back. And so the bubble is burst. So just be aware, it's the energy. Yeah, that could happen. Now, they may say yes, but they may say no. They may say a hard no. The moon enters Capricorn at 4:08 p.m. Pacific time. And then we have the full moon at 6:07 p.m. Pacific time at 1 degree of Capricorn. And then you get clarity. You asked for something or you thought something, but you realize there's a problem. So stop lying to yourself. It's time for adulting Capricorn, taking on responsibility, facing up to the reality, getting practical, and moving forward, putting on your big girl or big boy pants. Yeah. And maybe the answer is there's a relationship that needs to go. And on Saturday, the word of the day is juncture. And The Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips is the song. So, like, if this could be a whole thing, Chasing Rainbows could be about the dissolution of a love relationship and how it happens. So somebody listening, this could be like, oh my God, this is exactly the story of what happened. Yeah, and Mercury and Cancer were square. The North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, they're both at 12 degrees. That's a juncture, a choice point, where you have to decide, am I going to South Node in Libra, stay in a relationship that's not serving me, people pleasing, going along and getting along and all of that kind of stuff? Or am I going to North Node in Aries, be brave, go it alone, be independent? And it may be you stay in the relationship, but you have to have some more independence and let go of the codependency. The moon is opposite Venus and then Mercury. So there's this oppositional energy where it's coming in from other people. So very much at a crossroads people will be at, but trust your gut. Listen to your intuition. Pull a card. What do you need to know? Come for an astrology reading if you want some guidance before you make a big decision. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories. Or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Go check out the OPA Retreat on my website, the Moon Workshops page. I'd love to have you come for this amazing experience. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.